The residents of Springville have become Avengers, and Lisa became Thor by accident. What kind of enemies have the townspeople encountered? How will they survive this crisis? In this episode, we're going to tell you about Springville and Marvel's dream team-up.
Pants in a brand new way.
It all started when Loki committed another crime against the realm of the gods. The king of the gods, Odin, was at the Rainbow Bridge in front of Thor and Heimdall and prepared him for banishment. On Earth, Loki apparently didn't take it seriously. Exile was a common occurrence for him. He even said provocatively, "I don't want to go to New York or Paris."
Springfield! No!
Coincidentally, Rocky's exile was in Simpson's yard. Bart was startled by the noise, asked Loki if he was okay, if he needed help. Loki complained about his father and brother.
Sibling who's always perfect.
Looked at Loki, who was in the same boat. He invited him to dinner. At the table, Homer was skeptical about the man who claimed to be Loki. Asked him if he could use magic to prove it.
I worship you, great Loki. Command me, O Lord, I renounce all other gods.
Lisa, a believer in modern science, but she's not impressed by this little trick. He thinks the last thing the world needs is a pork chop, maybe for a vegetarian. Loki used his magic to send him into the realm of the gods, but it just happened to end up in the weapons room of the gods.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if they be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. Well, there's no way I'm worthy. I'll just put it back.
A woman came to the supermarket to buy meat. I didn't realize the pork seller here was so handsome.
I'd like to try the most wonderful, perfect cut of meat you have.
Coming right up! So, wanna go out sometime?
And then a male customer comes in. He screamed at the sight of Harry the butcher's handsome face. He goes back and gives him a bad review on the internet. Next day, the manager sees that it's lost its star. He criticized Harry like crazy. And of course, he fired him when he told Harry he was shameless. But he never thought he'd be able to fight back. He pulled the manager's face off and put it on his own face. And when he got out, he was lamenting the fact that it's hard to find a job in this world. There was a job opening next door. Harry bounced over for an interview. Harry, the social worker, asked for the job. He wanted to know if Harry had a resume. Then Harry asked him what his salary was. It had to match his handsome face. I didn't realize they were only paying minimum wage. That's it. And Harry agreed. It was a coincidence. An old man, Denny, came by to fix his computer. Harry's first job came along. Harry threw the computer on the table. He told me what was wrong with the computer and how it wouldn't work. Harry read the book and took the manager's face off. He puts the face in the driver. Does the computer really work? It's just that Duncan's freaking out. Harry was fired again. Before he left, he took a CD-ROM and plugged his face with it. The manager is at the police station right now, and the sheriff's confident he'll be arrested.
Nail this Harry guy. Whoever he is.
Harry's been fired twice in one day. He was looking for a job. He saw his mug on the wall, and it said job opening. Harry looked at it. He's talking about himself, isn't he? Bouncing around, doing little dances. And then he went and got himself caught. The sheriff was holding a meeting to arrest him. Harry arrives with his mugshot, but he's got a bunch of guns pointed at him. So Harry was arrested without incident. Just as a police officer came to report, Fat Bones Malone has reappeared. The sheriff had an idea. Find a man without a face to go undercover. 6 years later, Malone confessed to everyone. There's another undercover agent. He knew who it was, but he didn't realize he'd turn around and kill Blue. Harry didn't even care when he saw such a brutal scene. The quality of the undercover agent is at its peak. Marlon and Harry had a heart-to-heart talk. Marlon married his girl to Harry, but then Harry confessed that he was the undercover. He had a tape recorder hidden in his clothes. That's how Marlon was arrested and sent to jail. Harry's face was put on the hero's medal. After the award, the sheriff put Harry back in jail. Harry was sleeping. Bubbles woke him up. It's the devil with the gun next door. And Mr. Mighty got him to break out of jail with him. Harry got a promotion in the police department. He got promoted to warden of the prison for his shamelessness. Next thing you know, he's running out of the prison. The outside was full of people protesting. Harry couldn't escape his inner torment. He started doing good things for people. Even little Godot needed an organ transplant. He reached into his face. He pulled out his own and gave it to Gadget. And then he gave his heart to Dang. Then he helped a runner who was lagging behind in a race. He gave him 2 legs, until he's given himself away. There's only 1 hoop left. The kid next door didn't have a hoop for his basketball game. He even gave the last bit to Gadoozy. The mayor rewarded him for his sacrifice. To Harry for his sacrifice. And to the woman who loved him in the beginning. Took Harry's whole portion back. Took back all of Harry's Harry's parts. She was determined to make a handsome android. Harry's woman finally put Harry together. I didn't realize that Harry's brain was installed backwards. Handsome Harry was no longer handsome. When Harry asked him out on a date, they just turned him down. Harry was walking down the street, slowly moving his feet, and he was hungry. I didn't realize that hot dogs were free for handsome men and women, but for the average guy, he had to pay $3. Harry's pockets were empty. The supermarket next door was hiring. Harry went back to work. The manager couldn't remember Harry anymore. He even called on everyone to laugh at Harry. Harry had to go to the circus. He'll be a mediocre performer. They all went to see him perform. Next door was Sad Larry. They were both circus freaks. Then lightning struck from the sky, and the clown appeared out of nowhere. He made balloons out of all the circus people. He took them up into the sky. They even floated off the face of the earth. One of the most outrageous episodes of Family Guy. Pete gets kicked off a train, and to make matters worse, he landed in North Korea. He was expecting to be blown away by a set of military-style fists, but instead, Pete was Bruce Lee. He beat the hell out of the North Koreans in 2 or 3 hits. You don't really think this is real, do you? If Pete was that good, why do you think he got kicked out?
Ow! A northern bird flew into my nuts!
And that's how Pete got on the border again. And that's how Pete made the news again. And again, Louis woke up here and realized something was wrong. Pete, who was supposed to be sleeping next to him, Louis didn't pay much attention until he saw the news on TV.
Damn it. Why does Peter have to ruin every family vacation?
Although Peter is too much of a dog, in order to save Peter, Louis told the kids about it. Megan was speechless. She didn't understand. What else could this stupid pig do? She won the skiing and shooting competition. He wouldn't do anything to save Pete. Megan's mind was made up. Louis grabbed the others and set out to rescue Pete, without her family in the way. But as she looked at the empty seats in the audience, Megan felt an uneasy feeling that kept coming back. At the same time, Pete here was tied to a pole, ready to be executed. He was about to lose his life in a foreign country. Peter was so scared that he peed his pants. But at this critical moment, Megan suddenly appeared. Megan was coming towards the post. The North Korean soldiers sent troops to stop her. In the face of overwhelming heavy firepower, Megan didn't panic at all. With his nimble maneuvering and gold-digging marksmanship, took out 2 sentries in no time. I do not know why these soldiers' shooting skills are so great, even in the face of high-altitude helicopters. Reagan also has his own way of dealing with it. He utilized the horizontal arrow shot by the other side, a snakeskin position, successfully took out the pursuing airplane. Peter also fierce. He did not expect. It was Megan who saved his life, but now was not the time to be grateful. The most important thing was to get out of the post. They had no choice but to take up their weapons and start charging as game characters.
Oh, don't shoot this guy. He was nice to me. Never mind.
The style of the game is really familiar, but I can't remember his name. Megan's excellent marksmanship. The enemies at this outpost were defeated. Megan is a champion ski shooter. Near or far, all the enemies couldn't escape from Megan's sights. As Megan opened the entrance to the underground passage, the two of them have won the game. As the game ended, they made it back to safety. If it wasn't for Megan's timely intervention, Peter would have gone to see Queen Elizabeth. And as a result, Megan lost her chance to make it to the finals. But then again, without the support of her family, what's the point of winning the championship? Megan didn't win a medal this time, but she did win her family's hearts.
What do you say, guys? Should we go home?
Uh-oh.
No! You leave Korea now!
The Simpsons joined the Mars program and used 10 years of training to make it possible for humans to settle on Mars. First, they had to simulate living on a Mars base for 1 week. When Homer first came in, she's ready to experience what it's like to go to the bathroom on Mars. Lisa took this opportunity. She took this opportunity to give Marge a lot of study manuals. She wanted to get Marge to quit, but after reading them, Marge realized the work on Mars is no different from housework. She was instantly interested, and so it was. Lisa on her way to Mars. On the 3rd day of simulation training, Marge has mastered the kitchen facilities of the base and can make delicious meals. After all, as a mom, I want to feel safe in everything I do. That's why Marge is now training, is not to make Lisa lose interest. She's also grown to love this life. The difference in experience. Lisa and Marge are not on the same level at all. The 7-day test was completed. All the men failed. Marge and Lisa will compete for the final spot. The scientists were obviously more interested in Marge. After all, scientists rarely see housewives, and they've seen a lot of nerds like Lisa. Lisa saw that the odds were against her. She was going to talk to Marge. Lisa got right to the point that she knew exactly what Marge was thinking, and that she wouldn't back down. So she wanted Marge to go home, but after so many days of training, thinks he's the one to help the scientists land on Mars. Lisa taunted Marge that even if she landed on Mars, she'll just be a spacewoman. The two of them argued about the spot.
On Mars, that would be a door slam!
Marge went home and complained to Homer, thinking that Lisa has become a hardened warrior, has started to disrespect her as a mom, and Homer didn't dare to intervene. He can only comfort her.
That must be really hard for you.
It is.
I'm so sorry you have to go through this.
Thank you.
On the other hand, Lisa started complaining to Bart, complaining about Marge's arbitrary behavior. Bart didn't dare to interrupt. He could only comfort him.
It must be really hard for you.
It is!
I'm so sorry you have to go through this.
Thank you.
The father and son through the mother-daughter conflict have successfully reconciled. Explorations is planning to buy an accelerated package for the 10-year plan. To buy an accelerated pack from 10 years to next Thursday, when the rest of the region heard they were going to Mars. They gave up. Marge thought it was time to go, too, but Lisa thought Marge was a coward. Mother and daughter were stuck here. The only ones who were panicked were Bart and Homer. After all, neither of them could cook, and now they had to be punished. And so the two of them got on the rocket. But no one really wanted to go to Mars. Even Lisa, the loner, do not want to die alone there. But the sponsors have spent all the money. How can they give up now?
Let's do this thing!
12.
Not only do Homer and Bart not know how to cook, they can't even use a dishwasher. Without Marge, they can't even take care of themselves.
2, 1, ignition!
The rocket was a fake. The scientists were going to cheat the sponsors and run.
Then why are you still here?
Our car wouldn't start.
The happiest were Bart and Homer, who didn't have to worry about running out of food. And Marge and Lisa's relationship was reconciled. Marge and Lisa went to Mars after many years, but because of the lack of resources, Lisa was going to participate in the Venus program. Once again, mother and daughter were at an impasse. Lisa could only complain to the robot.
That must be really hard for you.
It is.
Nodbot is so sorry you have to go through this.
Thank you.